Hi, I'm Lanny, and this is Preserving Today, a Greener Pastures project. Well, today I'm excited to show you a little bit about what I'm learning about dandelions. Dandelions grow prolifically here in the Northwest. They're edible and medicinal. A lot of people make tea with dandelion roots. The leaves are just like any other salad green, and the flowers can be used to make fritters. I'm making a dandelion oil that I'll be using for a salve later. And today I want to show you how I'm making what I call dandy capers. This is fermented dandelion buds. And these are not the closed flowers that you see early in the morning before the sun comes up. These are the actual buds on the plant that you can't usually see unless you're really looking. Down deep, if you spread things out, there's these tiny little buds at the base of the plant, and that's what you want. By fermenting these tight little buds, you get a product that's quite a bit like capers that you would buy in the store. So I went hunting with my 16-month-old baby, and I got the little buds while he collected the flowers. Back in the house, I put my dandelion flowers on my drying rack, and I rinsed the buds off. I soaked them for a minute and then scooped them out of the water, and then I rinsed them in a fine mesh strainer. After that, the rest of the process is just like making any other fermented vegetable with the brine method. I placed the capers in a glass jar with straight sides. So I mixed a saltwater brine of 1.5 teaspoons of salt to each cup of water. I covered it with the brine. I placed one of my glass weights on top, and I'm using a ball fermentation lid that comes with their lid and spring set. I'm gonna link to these items in the description here. Okay, now it's been 4 days and I'm just checking my ferment. I'm wondering how done these are, because I'm not sure how quickly they're going to ferment. Just from opening the jar, I can already tell that these are not done to my liking just by using my senses. Eyes, ears, nose, feeling with my face, smelling. But sometimes, just for fun, I like to use these pH strips to tell how acidic the liquid has become that is fermenting these capers. I think if you're new to fermentation, these pH strips can be really useful into reaffirming that you're on the correct path. The way fermentation preserves food is by creating an acidic environment where bad bacteria cannot grow. So you want to make sure that your ferment is to the correct acidity for safety as well as flavor. Now, I don't need the pH strip to tell me how to do this. I can tell by how it smells and tastes and sounds and feels. But again, if you're a beginner, the pH strips might be the right idea. All you do is cut off a piece, dip it into your brine, and then measure the color that it becomes against this little chart that's on the front of the strips. And again, this is confirming that these are not quite where I would like them. And we're back at day 7, and I'm pretty sure these are going to be what I want. I don't want to go too long or these capers are going to become soft. And the texture of these buds are already softer than conventional capers that you would buy at the store. Yep, things are looking good, so I'm going to finish these. I'm just going to move them into a smaller jar so they take up less room in my fridge now that I don't need to have the weight inside any longer. And I cap it off with one of these plastic storage lids that fit any canning jar. I'll also link to those in the description. I have both the regular mouth and wide mouth size of these, and they're really useful for fermented foods that are then moving to your fridge. So now I'm moving these capers to cold storage. They will be preserved in a refrigerator setting for at least a year, probably much longer, but I doubt they'll last that long. I plan to use these in probably like a potato salad or something like that. Are you new to fermentation? Do you want to learn more? Sign up for one of my workshops. I'll be announcing the date for another Exploring Fermentation workshop soon. I just held the Fermentation for Food Preservation workshop last week. People enjoyed themselves, I enjoyed myself. We went over a ton of stuff, all about fermented vegetables, different methods of fermenting, equipment, raw materials, safe storage, foodborne illness, and how to keep your food safe. Fermentation is an ancient form of food preservation, and anyone trying to have a good stockpile or pantry, anyone homesteading, anyone who is prepping should definitely know about fermentation as an option for food preservation. To learn more, you can follow me on Instagram at Greener Pastures, or send me an email at greenerpastures@pm.me to join our mailing list. I'll be sure to announce here as well as on my Instagram page and in an email when we set the next date for another workshop of fermentation for food preservation, as well as more workshops in the Exploring Fermentation series, such as fermented beverages and quick ferments. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm Lanny. This was Preserving Today.